This episode is presented to you by NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. With NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can watch your favorite teams' out-of-market Sunday games, plus watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. Don't miss the race to the playoffs. NFL Sunday Ticket is now just $39 when bundled with YouTube TV, where you get even more football. Visit youtube.com/Spotify offer to sign up now. Lowest price on YouTube TV with base plan. Rest of 2023 season. Terms and embargoes apply. No cancellations.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool that helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/Pixel NBA. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements. Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
All right, here we are. Look at us facing each other once again, boys.
In person.
In person. Shades of Blue Soccer Show is recording from the United Soccer Coaches Convention. We're in downtown Kansas City.
And Sperry just smacked his head under his microphone.
Wow,
Daniel,
you've already like unveiled the guest before the introduction.
Yeah, well, Daniel, you kind of introduced yourself there with the headbang.
You outed yourself.
Okay.
So yes, Cody, Robert, and Thad are here on location, and Daniel Sperry has stopped by. We're the night seems to be kind of winding down. It was a hustle and bustle day on Podcast Row. But yeah, things are finally winding down.
We just had 1,000 people walk through here.
I know, man.
Well, upstairs finally just opened, and the rush walked through here.
They'll be smooging through here.
Smooging.
I was told that they have beer.
Never smooged before.
Oh.
Who has beer?
Upstairs.
Yeah.
And that's what smooging is, or you just made up that word?
Smoozing, boozing, schmooze. You never heard of that word?
No.
Okay.
Or that phrase?
I've heard skulk.
Schmooze.
Skulking around.
Did that not come out correctly as schmoozing?
Guys, a moose boost.
Good Lord. This is off the rails.
So should we start talking? Once we all get
Let's
in
get
person.
it more off the rail. Come on.
Yeah,
How many of you have already been drinking? God.
I've had a lot of coffee today. That's about
It's been a
it.
long day.
yeah. Sperry's all wound up today. So yes, a lot is going on in sporting Kansas City world.
Yeah, man.
Robert just ran through. A lot's been going on today, but Robert just took some notes for us. So
5 acquisitions.
5 acquisitions.
Plus 2, returnees.
And it might be more accurate to describe Robert just taught Cody who has signed with Sporting this year.
I'm not going to lie to you. He said a name a second ago that I have never even heard of.
It's like, who the bleep?
Like, not. It wasn't when this team announced it. That was the first time I heard of it. I missed the announcement, and I've never heard of this player.
And,
All right.
and he thought that he signed with the KC Current.
And Daniel Sperry spent a lot of time talking to this person today, too.
This player's name is Kelsey, and so I'm sorry that I
Kelsey.
Wait, what?
That's the
thinking
tight end
Chiefs. They
for
play
the Kansas
Sunday.
City Chiefs. Yeah.
Wait, what's the name of the player I didn't?
Courtney Ford.
Oh, Courtney. Okay. Also
You
a
call
girl's
yourself
name.
a fan.
See? I told you. I didn't know this person.
Hey.
Okay, Courtney. I am sorry. I
My
assumed
daughter
Courtney.
has what is
This is already
technically
the
a
best
boy's
and
name.
worst pod we've ever done.
We can switch gender with names. It's fine.
Yeah, and I don't want to
Gender
hate
fluid
on that,
names.
but yes, I assumed Courtney was playing for the Currents. So yes, tell me and our fans about this new addition.
Well, Mr. Sperry, you spoke with him at depth today. So
I did. I mean, Courtney Ford. He was a homegrown signing by the Rapids in 2017. Played a really strong 2018 and 2017 and 2018 campaign with them. And then there was some knee injury issues that happened at the end of 2018. I'll say there was a knee issue that happened before of 2018. He played through pain, started 14 straight games to end the season, played through a significant amount of pain in 2018 in his knee, and dude got back. Tried to play. What's going on here?
I don't know.
You're just really
scared.
going into detail here.
I'm
This is
scared.
good.
I'm pushing buttons over here. I feel him off. I'm sorry.
I was scared for a second. No, knee issues. Had 2 surgeries on it. Missed the entirety of the 2019 and 2020 season. Moving on to 2021, he went out on loan to San Antonio FC. Played 14 games there.
Scored a few goals.
Scored 4 goals and helped lead them to the semifinals of the Western Conference, or the Western Conference Finals, semifinals of the USL playoffs.
Right.
Western Conference Finals, lost in penalty kicks to Orange County SC. He's a really talented center back and had a really high, obviously had a very high ceiling and high hopes that the Rapids had for him until those injuries, and just kind of derailed everything for a little bit, and recently lost his mom after a very long battle with cancer. And so there's a chip on his shoulder that I think is really apparent in the press conference today. Even Nate and kind of linked Iko Para's time before coming to Kansas City and Courtney's time before coming to Kansas City in very similar strokes, and painted them in very similar strokes and the issues that they had. So I don't know if we're necessarily talking like all of a sudden Courtney Ford's going to come in and be a defender of the year. There's 2 defender of the year candidates that are in front of him on the depth chart at the center back position, right? So, but I think, he's a really good depth piece. He's a really strong depth piece that
has potential.
That has potential for the future. Like, I was thinking last year, Graham Smith, ceiling was not there anymore. Roberto Puncic, the floor fell out of the bottom and no one could get back to the ceiling. And then you had Kave Rat, and that was it on the back line. And then that's why they were so reliant on Ilie for so long at the back line position. And so, we'll talk about more additions here, but it's one thing I asked Peter Vermees about. They targeted a lot of high-quality acquisitions along the back line, and Courtney Ford is one of the biggest ones that I think slipped under a lot of people's radar. I don't quite know when this podcast is coming out live for people to listen to compared to when my article will come out live, hopefully here tonight at time of recording. But, he was pretty disrespected, he felt, by the way the Rapids handled him, by the way head coach, specifically Robin Fraser, handled him. And he kind of made that known. And he said that, when he finally sat down at the table with Sporting Kansas City, felt he got an offer that showed that he was valued and respected. And he said that kind of chip on his shoulder, I think is going to, a lot of fans are really going to like him. And he's a really down to earth, really open and honest guy, and very driven guy from talking 1v1. One of the few new signings I've had a chance to really talk to. But, man, I think people are going to like this guy.
Cool. Yeah, because he was a free agent coming from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
He hit that time, right? But they did make him an offer.
They did make him an offer, and it was one that he said to me that
Not respectable.
He felt he wasn't respected by.
Glad to have him.
Yeah.
I've seen, when he was going to Colorado, because he's originally from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up here till he was 12 before moving to Colorado, and then ended up in the Colorado Rapids system. Mm-hmm. There was people here that was very unhappy that we didn't get him somewhere along the line. Not that we had the ability to, but
no. And the situation too. I don't know if for listeners, I don't know how much you know about his life story, but the reason why they left was that his father, after his mom got custody of him, threatened to kill them, and they moved to Colorado. He had just entered the Kansas City Wizards Academy at that point, and that all kind of derailed. So when he got to Colorado, that's where he really turned into the soccer player that he was, and stuff. But I chatted with him. He's from Olathe. This is where he's born. Went to Northview Elementary for you Olathe folks. A lot of interesting information, but cool local signing. Really driven player, really good guy.
Wow, Sperry giving us a preview of his article before it even comes out, and you know what that deserves? A round of applause.
All right.
Oh,
Cody has a new toy, in case you haven't noticed. Dumb question. I don't know if you know this, but his dad threatened him. What's happened to his dad?
I don't know, and that was not a question that I asked at that point.
Didn't want to go there.
It also that's obviously information that's been out previously, and that wasn't
Right.
something that was necessarily part of the interview. But I think that's he did mention that there's other family here that he doesn't that maybe not be his dad.
Yeah, that'd be understandable. I'm just hoping if the dad is still here, that's not a issue. I mean, I don't want to get into his personal life too far, so that's a line that I
Too far. I think we've gone pretty deep already.
I know.
But
I tried
he's
to bring
also-
it back to funny. And
He's
you just
also
jumped
made
right back in.
he's also made his personal life a pretty open book.
Yeah.
And so
which is the only reason I would even go there. So.
Right.
Yeah, and fans I think connect with that a lot better too.
And I think it means he's dealing with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But no, I mean,
positive
he
signing.
on the field, as far as signings go, I mean, his signing, Nadenby's, Vololder's signing, all the
There we go.
age they're at,
Spitting
it's
out some
exciting. It's
Foreign names.
I'm pumped by it. I like these signings for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and Ford's the old one out of that.
Yeah,
that
and
group.
yeah,
He's
25.
26.
But he's got
26
50
this year,
some odd
yeah.
MLS games.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere in the 50s, I think. So he's
Yeah.
got that experience that if his knee is healthy, if his body is healthy, he can step on the field and play.
Yeah.
Next week where, Peter likes to get foreign guys a little experience, and then, it's center backs is hard to get them experience. So.
Well, I think it's been talked about in other forums, but the schedule this year is so compact. With the shortened season, we're
Yeah.
going to need
Slightly less
that
compact
depth.
from last season, but
Yeah, less than because there's actually not a lot
was there only
double
five
games.
double game weeks?
I think it was less than that.
Yeah.
But
I might be wrong. I thought there was only five. I'll say there's
it
only
was like-
5 midweek matches.
I was thinking there was 3, and then if you count in the Open Cup, something
Open,
else.
Open Cups, League Cup will probably create some of
Right.
that. Which
Yeah, sure.
Again, I could
You
be
know
wrong.
it's
I'm
gonna
not looking at
happen.
the schedule right now. But
yeah. I don't know. Other signings you want to talk about, or you guys wanted to talk about?
well, just from my perspective, Volodor is kind of the instant step in for Fontas. We've seen he's a left-footed. Seen him pass well from a video from 3 years ago. He was doing it really well.
I'm just saying, if you're an 18-year-old center back pinging diagonal balls like that, you got some passing ability. That was ridiculous.
It's only gotten better, I'm sure.
I would hope so.
And then Ford would be the logical backup to Izzy. And then we still have
Cave played as the left center back in the game against San Jose that they won on the road.
he did well.
With Ilya next to him, that was really good after a bad showing in that game against RSL. So
And he's at the age he's at and the experience he's got, he's going to have some good and some bad. But I feel very good about that center of the defense depth.
Agree.
the whole spine too. I mean, Uri was back. Yuri Roussel.
I'm not saying
I don't-
Yuri. It's right.
I was
either way.
never here before.
Oh, okay.
I've
just never
he
heard
was
that.
here before.
Okay,
so,
I'm sticking with Yuri then.
Yeah, I'm going with Yuri.
Yuri. Okay.
He
Yuri
answered
was-
when I called him Yuri. So
Okay. Anyways, Oriol Roselle.
There we go. There it
just say
is.
Roselle.
is back in the middle. And Mauri, I think, showed glimpses of what we think he could be as the 6 last season when he wasn't quite fully healthy. So the whole spine, I think, outside of the striker position, which, bombshell, looks to be really, really strong.
Really strong? Really? The midfield, you think?
Do you have doubts?
I do. I do. I mean, look at Rosell's past couple of years, his history. He hasn't played a whole lot. He's
Played a fair amount, actually. Because I was thinking he hadn't played a lot, but
I went back and looked. It's like almost 20 games a year.
Yeah. So,
And Orlando's not great.
well, no.
And he had some really incredible players that were playing in front of him in that midfield, like Junior Urso. You want
they
the
should have
modern,
been better.
huh?
They should have been better.
They should have been better.
Now, I'm trying to defend Yuri on one hand, but on the flip side of it, I do understand what you're saying. 'Cause
Yeah.
when I've seen him play, I didn't think he was spectacular, but a lot of it may be the system, where he comes back into this
They played
system.
double pivot.
And he was very good at playing and being in the right spot and making those tackles the first time he was here. I'm hoping he is back to that. And even if he's not back to that, you have Mauri, Voltaire, Kenda when he's healthy, Cam Duke.
Right. I'm specifically talking about the holding
Felipe.
midfield, but yeah.
Yes.
Felipe Hernandez is back. I think that's a signing. It's almost like a new player coming back.
Oh,
because you didn't
wait.
have-
Now you sound like Vermees. It's almost like he's a new player. re-signing the player we've had is almost
That's what
like
happens
a
when you start
It's
writing with the
almost like a
star.
new
You
player.
become a, you know,
Oh, stop it.
mouthpiece.
Echo chamber.
Insulting.
You just
Truth.
be following in the family tradition.
Wow. All right. Skipping past
Didn't know
that
you were going to
one.
get roasted here, did you?
Oh, I expected it. You guys said, hey, come on over. Don't skip out on us. I was like, oh, come on. I know what's happening right now.
Yeah, we're not going to record without you, man. No.
No,
You looked lonely over there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. See, three of us showed up, only one of you. So.
Yeah, it's easier when you're going from, instead of Denver and Orlando and one in Kansas City, to get all three in Kansas City down to the convention center. But
Okay, that's valid.
Yeah.
Valid point.
Excuses.
yeah,
But-
you tell them that. But
I will. All right. But going back to what you said about Felipe, that is something that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. I don't know, we've heard officially that he's been reinstated, but the fact that he went to Arizona, and I've kind of heard unofficially that he's probably, I don't know if it was asked today in the presser because I was here.
It was not. I think most people are kind of getting the gist of it. It's just at a point where MLS has to announce it. I don't think he could have been on that team plane or anywhere near the facility if he wasn't reinstated.
I agree.
And so I would assume that's probably the case there.
But if you go back and look at the games he played before he was suspended last year, he was coming in. He scored a couple goals. He got a couple assists. He looked like a player that was about to grasp playing time, serious playing time.
And he and Daniel had like really good connection, 1-2 down that left-hand side, which is one thing that I think when Kinda was healthy really also helped Daniel, right?
Oh, for sure.
That trio there of Martins, Saloui, and Kinda really was on. I mean, that was extremely dangerous attacking group. And Felipe slotted in perfectly there for a good portion of the year.
And that's a lot of people heavily criticize Martins, and I understand why. But I thought that he did combine well with Saloui. His crosses were always just
combining was never the problem.
right.
Yeah.
It's the close passes were great.
It was the final pass. The final product was usually lacking on both ends for Martins.
In agreement.
Yeah.
In agreement, guys. That's not good for
What
content.
about what about
Someone yell at each other.
Speaking of Martins, and Denbe comes in. I don't know. Have you guys watched the video at all of him?
course.
Have you seen? What are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on how he's going to fit into it?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that 30-second highlight video that you saw of this player?
Well, that's the only thing we have sometimes. So
I know. I always have to just point that out because there are other people and shows. I don't even know if that's true, but there are other people talking about, if this is a good signing or not. And we need to point out the ridiculousness of that. MLS is a different ball game here.
you could look at my highlight reel of like 3 minutes and think I was a great player,
From
right?
the media,
Two
media
minutes,
game,
maybe.
Yeah.
I looked back at. So hold on, a quick second. I looked back at the media game footage a while ago, and I watched it. Dude, all the shots of me that are actually in there, I'm doubled over with my hands on my knees because I was so gassed from running. I was so out of shape.
Okay, but I'm still ashamed of you. You gave me a pass in the box. In one of those games,
Dude.
and I didn't open my hips enough, and I missed it.
I was so mad too because I had the shot and I was like, oh wait, no, this pass would look really sick, so I did it, and then you missed the shot, and I was
know.
like,
That's
you
the problem,
dummy,
you
it's a
thought
media
about
game.
it.
Just go for glory, rip it on target, and get the goal because no one knows how to play goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I know, and
most of
that's
those keepers suck.
And that's exactly why I missed it. That same thought process you had was like, I need to. You just kick it. This guy's not gonna stop
Outside of my
anything.
foot or something like that.
I was trying to technically open up and curl it into the corner. Like no, just fucking. And there was 4 of us running into the box at the same time too. So
Are they going to bring it back this year? I don't know. I hope so.
yeah, I miss it.
They did last year.
Yeah. It
Where
was
were
just
you guys?
I was gone.
Gosh,
they weren't invited.
No, I was in Europe.
that did not pass along the email inviting them to them.
Hey, my team won again, by the way.
We did a screaming upper 90s shot from one of the folks from, I believe, Univision. Was either Univision or Telemundo. I can't remember.
But actually, we were losing until we got some reinforcements.
Yes.
Wasn't that at training, or where was that at?
AKA Alex Trost.
Actually, Sam Coswood.
Oh, yeah, Sam did help us out.
No, it was at Sporting Park.
Was it?
It was at
Okay.
Jones Mercy Park.
Yeah. Played on the field. We
Played side to side.
played side to
Right,
side in
right.
the length of the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Oh man, it's a big
Nobody
field.
had gas. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna make it a little bit smaller." I don't know if you guys. I was like, "No, keep the space." And then I was sitting there and it was like, Could be shorten the field at halftime. Goodness gracious.
I know, what a fucking idiot you were, man.
Yeah, that field. I run. I'm pretty in shape, but 2 sprints down that field, and my God, yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Okay, before we go off the rails again, Logan and Denbei.
What little I've seen is he looks good. I mean, again, it's very little that I've seen. I'm trusting that he is. I mean, he looks like he has some speed. I don't know. I mean, we really don't know a lot more about him. I need to see something from him. The highlight videos that we have seen have been minimal.
Yeah, I'm curious. And Ben Sweat. I mean, if you pay attention to Instagram, Ben Sweat was part of the team that won the very first.
I saw that.
Thing. He was part of that group. I think I know he's returning from injury, but that's a good sign that he's already playing in high competitive points like that. But I think the Ndenbe thing is interesting because I remember Martins, they all talked about, one, his speed, which I don't know if we ever truly saw how fast he was. He wasn't faster than Jerso. And then the other spot was, like, he was heralded for his set piece delivery and his ability to hit a dead ball. You would think that would translate into being able to cross, and that wasn't there. So the one highlight I have seen from Ndenbe, I watched an extended match of him from the last season, and he was playing as a right back. He got an assist in that match. It was a 2-2 draw. But with his off foot, or with his right foot, whipped in a perfect cross that led to that goal. Really very fast, 1-2 combination play with the center midfielder and launched up the end line. Those are the kind of actions that I think that Sporting wants. Reminds me of Jimmy Madronda, who's excelling with Seattle now, but. I know, right?
Just got richer.
Oh boy, but yeah, but I think when you're going to sign these players that are U22 initiative players, you're not going to get the top end product that you think you're going to get all the time because they're still in development. So, being able to see those flashes from him, I think, is going to be the most important thing because still him being like 21 or so, he's got a 3 or 4 year contract with options beyond that. I mean, he's going to be here for at least a little while unless he's so good that they sell him because he's so good. And then you're going to get that impact right away. So his experience with the Belgian youth national team, I think, is really important and puts him in conversations with and playing time with really high quality players, too, around Europe.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
2 young players. I like it a lot.
And potentially a third.
I know we thought.
Or more.
We thought we might get an announcement today while we were here so we could do all of these in one podcast, but.
I knew we weren't.
Well, what did Vermeer say today? That we do have a forward spot that we need to fill, so we'll fill it with a forward.
Yeah.
Basically what he said.
And they have they need both a striker and a winger, in my opinion. Even before the season, I thought they needed one of those, depending on where they wanted to play Kyrie. Now that Polito's out, they need one of both of those, and I think they know that too. I'm curious about the striker position. Obviously, we've all seen the rumors for Marino Sazonis.
That was better than I'd said it.
Yeah.
The Cypriot.
He kind of went through it quickly.
Yeah, Marino's no. I feel like the most notable thing about the fact that he's playing in Cyprus is the fact that he's playing with Mix Discarud on that team, which is that's where he's at. Like, it was like Where's Waldo for a while with Discarud.
Exactly.
But the Tazonis thing
mixes it up, man.
Yeah.
Edit.
I didn't get to that button.
There's no
fast
Two
enough.
of us are here, our dads, and only one of them is making the right jokes right now.
Wait, isn't there here? Oh, that's what it is.
There we go.
I'm going to keep that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm keeping that one
Save
on the
that.
board.
Like a Charlie Brown
Oh,
episode.
yeah. They've obviously negotiations are still happening. Nothing's finally done on that, but at least I've been told, and I can say publicly, they are close in negotiations. But it's obviously a player they're hot after. A lot of reports out there before anyone here in the U.S. really tried to ask questions about it. So I think that he would be an interesting ad. Shows that was a giant farting noise that just like ripped out. I don't know if the mics picked it up, but there was just a giant farting noise that just absolutely ripped out over this auditorium.
Like luggage on at an airport.
Yes, that's almost what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Or a giant fart.
Yeah, I think it was that guy over there in the gray jacket.
He just saw you point at him too. That was nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, but. Back to whatever I was trying to say.
Oh, you don't want to keep talking about farts?
You have 4 guys on the podcast.
This has been the most adult podcast we have ever done.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Yeah, they need that. They need the winger. They'll need a striker. I'm curious to see what the striker position. Now that the winger thing is out there pretty obviously, I'm very curious to see what at some point surfaces with the striker position.
Yeah, I don't know how much room they have though. That's the one problem. If they sign Marinos, they call him Johnny in Omania, so I don't
Really
something like that.
Can't have two
Zonis. Tizonis.
Yeah, I know, but the way they were pronouncing it was like very much like Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's Greek. They speak Greek
And Turkish.
and Turkish.
In that country.
Yeah, it's weird.
So anyway, if they sign him, we think that will happen sometime soon. And they've got Veloter and they've got Ndembe. That's 3 potential U22 initiative guys. There's not a lot of international slots left. Even to sign Tizones, they have to put Polito on season-ending injury to have the international slot, unless a couple people get green cards.
Right.
But even beyond that, you still don't have a lot of international slots left, even if they get another one. And the money.
Yeah. I think we'll see green cards. That was something that Vermees kind of hinted at when asked about it in a press conference Thursday last week.
Yeah.
And he said it'll come, and even with like the U22 initiative stuff, like obviously Veloter and Ndembe qualify. And they are not wanting to put official tags on anything yet, because let's say they do sign a player who would qualify for a U22 initiative slot, a striker. One of those would need to not be in the U22 initiative slot because you only get 3. So if that's the case, then they're not ready to label those tags on it. So roster compliance date, we'll figure out who got international slots. Sporting is not Inter Miami. They know how many DPs they have. They're going to be roster compliant. They're going to figure out ways to get their international slots. They have plenty of allocation money. They got at least $1.05 million extra of it from the Busio sale for use. So that's a lot of money. In international slots are only $250K, and I'm sure some team like the San Jose Earthquakes, who aren't buying anybody at the moment, probably could sell off one of those. They already did to Houston. They could do it again. So I think.
But what would they use the money for if they're not using it?
Well, if you saw the reports from Almeida today, he said they only use the money that they get from the league. So if you sell off another one, there's $500K that they could maybe put into a player. That's what got him Jeremy Ebobisse. So who would be really helpful to Sporting Kansas City right now, anyways.
I've seen some people making suggestions, but I don't know. We'll see. And then supposedly there's a rumor of a Swedish or a Swiss forward also.
The one rumor that I saw about that, and this is nothing that I've heard from actual people at Sporting, just things on the internet, was things, articles, stories written by people who know things out there. Is that it was a player, French player actually, French and Ghanaian striker out of the Swiss league. Interesting. He's got a lot of goals. some penalties, a lot of them finishing off plays in the box. More of a target man, large physical target man kind of a thing.
Yeah. But swinging back to the Cypriot winger for a second.
Ooh, Cyprus.
So proud of himself for nailing that. You were waiting there with Cypriot for a while, weren't you?
I said Cypriot earlier.
He
He
leaned
said
into
it
the
like
mic.
5 times.
Yeah.
I know.
That one you looked especially proud of yourself. You hit
Cody
it.
doesn't know who the
because I'm
signings
trying to make
are.
sure I
He's
don't
not
say
even
the wrong
listening to the
names.
podcast. It's being recorded in front of him. This is why it's all.
I
three of
am
us.
recording it. That's what I'm doing over here.
He's not listening.
All right. Yes, Thad. What about him?
Looking at his highlights and looking at some of the game video that I found of him, I did really like that he was putting him in left-footed. He was putting him in right-footed. He was doing it from a little bit of distance. He was doing it with runs into the box. He was doing it with broken plays.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the fact that he scored from multiple different ways and both feet. That just bodes very well to me.
Yeah. Good note. Good shout.
Okay.
I watched a little bit on him, so I haven't seen as much. You have to send me the link.
Yeah, I mean, I liked all that, but mostly I liked his attitude. He seemed to be hungry. He seemed to be aggressive, maybe a little bit cocky in that way, which is a good thing for a forward
And
or a striker. So,
and our Cypriot sources said that he did have a really high work rate.
right.
Worked back. That's a key thing for Sporting. So.
Tis. U.S. national team scrimmage, right? That's the first one?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear nothing about it.
Exactly.
Okay, guys.
Closed
Are we
door.
good?
Do we want to talk about any other teams in the city that are signing players, like the Current?
Yeah. And I believe there's another team we should give a shout to as well.
Yeah, who would that be?
The KC Comets. The talk of the convention here. Bye.
I know.
Bye, Sperry. He's leaving us. Okay. Okay, well, the mic part. Okay, anyway.
We ran off Sperry?
We just chased him away, I guess. He claimed to be coming back. Oh, and now I lost where we were. Where were we talking about?
Current Comets?
Yes, KC
Yeah.
Comets. The talk of the convention with a big event, big game on Saturday night at the T-Mobile Center against the Tacoma. I already forgot.
Stars.
Oh, I thought it was a cooler name than that. That's boring. Tacoma
Taco
Stars.
Masters.
Yeah, and on the big stage, T-Mobile Center, I imagine it'll draw a good amount of people from this convention here. So it should be pretty exciting. We had Kevin Ellis on. If you haven't listened to that podcast yet, check it out. Kevin Ellis and Brian Budzinski.
You look like you were looking at me like for the pronunciation, so I just went ahead and said it. Sorry.
Got it for me. Thad just calls him Bud.
That's what he goes by a lot.
So yeah, that was a good convo. That should be a good game. I'm happy for the Comets. I want that league to do well.
And actually, Budzinski is a person that anybody who follows the Comets should know because he's been the driving force behind them coming back in this latest iteration, and he left ownership and management for a while with some other stuff, but he's back, and they are building a good team and doing really well. They're 7-1 right now going into this game Saturday. They were 6-0 before this last 2-game road trip, and they lost one game on that road trip. Of their 8 games they've played, 6 have been on the road, so it's been pretty tough. But they have been pretty darn good.
Oh, hey, look who decided to show up.
So I have a blood pressure medicine that I take, and it dries my throat out like crazy. Ends up with a whole lot of fun coughs. So I don't have COVID.
Nice.
If you hear me hacking up a lung, my throat's just dry as the freaking Sahara. So
Okay,
This
so
is a pod for really getting into people's personal lives.
yes, yeah, we got very personal tonight.
I feel like if COVID didn't exist, I don't feel like this would be a disclaimer that I would have to do every time I have to cough in public.
Exactly.
Okay, I do want you to realize the people listening to this pod are in no danger of catching COVID from you.
I don't have COVID. All these guys are sitting here looking at me at this table. I don't have COVID.
Just so you
I've
know.
literally tested.
So, Thad,
So back to the Current.
tell us about the new Kansas City Current players.
Well, actually, the biggest news for them is they got a new general manager and a new coach.
Yeah.
Cammy Levin, Matt Potter. Matt Potter is the new coach. Cammy Levin's the new GM. Hugh William, the former coach, is now the director of soccer operations, whatever that actually means.
Technical director, is that the same thing?
Who knows?
It sounds like one step below
Below what?
technical director.
I don't know. It's whatever anybody wants to call it nowadays. They have been really rebuilding the team this year with signings. Sam Ewis, trade for Sam Ewis, star midfielder for the national team, one of the Ballon d'Or feminine. I don't know how you actually say those words, but
Feminine.
finalists.
That's how that always
Good
sounds
old
in my head.
French.
What?
Feminine.
Yeah, that. Forward Lynn Williams, national team player. They just re-signed Desi Scott today for a year contract.
Kristen Edmonds returns for a year
Yep.
contract. Outgoing Darian Jenkins and Jessica Silva.
Did they announce Silva?
Silva, they did not publicly announce Silva. Jessica Silva publicly announced Jessica Silva leaving Kansas City.
Yes, she did.
And she had some ability, but I'm not sad to see her go. If that's being mean, so be it.
Being mean? Who cares about being mean? We're talking
Apparently
about
some
sports here.
Truthful,
players.
Thad. Truthful. As you see it.
She had like moments and flashes, but they always built her up last year like way bigger than they should have. But they had not a lot of players to build up last year. So.
Wow.
All right, look at that. We covered all 3.
And it opened up an international slot for him.
We covered all 4 soccer teams in this city tonight. SKC 1 and 2, Comets and Current.
Did we really cover 2?
We mentioned it.
Are we really talking about?
Job done.
Are we done talking
Benny
about?
Feilhaber?
That's it.
Did we talk about that?
Oh, Benny Feilhaber and Ike Para.
Yeah.
We spoke about
BSI,
Benny
the
on
coaching
last one.
staff. That's what we're getting,
I
right?
don't know.
Yes, BSI, the coaching staff. I'm excited. They're a good duo. It warms my heart that they're working together. I love it. I don't know why. It's like there's nothing specific I can think of that like makes it cool, but it like really pleases me to hear the news that Ike Para is Benny Feilhaber's assistant coach of SKC2.
That news surprised me much less than the news about him being a scout for like 4 months for Nashville and nobody freaking knowing about it. That was
Since
weird.
May last year.
May last year.
Yeah.
Which because they didn't announce
Right.
that he was. My friend Jacob was the one, and Tom broke that story that he was getting the buyout exercised and he was done, and that was like last summer after May.
Yeah.
So very weird, interesting.
And he was doing that with former Sporting right back Chance Myers.
Oh, Chance is over there in Nashville, huh? Mm-hmm. He seems like the hair.
not
the
a
hair
Nashville
just
person.
like seem.
No, he seems like a Californian person, not Nashville.
Nash Vegas is something else. I went there for the World Cup qualifier, and oh boy, I've never been to Nashville before. I was not ready for.
Okay, maybe
Lower
I'm
Broadway.
misjudging. Maybe I'm just
I'm
misjudging.
headed there for the away game this year, so
Yeah, that'll be
Just
fun.
fill me in, Mr. Sperry.
I went with my wife, and so because they played at the Nissan Stadium, there's a footbridge that goes over the river that you walk across from downtown over to the stadium. Now everybody and their mother is walking back. COVID stuff still,
Yeah.
raring to go. Delta full on going. No masks anywhere. Streets packed, and so we waited at the top of the stadium for the footbridge to clear. We go across the footbridge, but all those people went into Lower Broadway, which is all the honky-tonk bars and everything that's down there, right before you can actually get into a place that's even remotely easy to get an Uber from. And we walking back through that was just absolute chaos. Absolute chaos.
Sounds fun.
So where's the new stadium located then?
So the new stadium is going to be located, south of the river. I'm just trying to think of geography. South of the river. It's on the outside of town, kind of by the raceway and the fairgrounds out there. It's going to be the new stadium looks awesome. I'm really happy for Nashville. I think it looks cool. They've done everything right so far, I think, for an expansion
Except
team.
for the logo.
The logo is okay, but here's the thing: everything Nashville. I know, we're just talking about stuff.
Yeah,
everything
freaking
Nashville has done so far, at least from my opinion, has embraced what Nashville is. The whole, like the you know how you get the log in Portland, you get a hard what's it called a words escaping me. A vinyl. You get like a vinyl record that plays. If you put it on a record player, plays the goal, the TV goal call of your goal that you scored. They do that for every single goal that's scored for everybody on the team. Then they have the whole riff off, the opening riff kind of a thing before the kick. So we have I Believe That We Will Win, which I believe will never die. At some point it will, but it ain't anytime soon.
Soon enough.
Some are wishing it.
Some are wishing it. The riff, though. The riff is the riff. That's what they do. That's cool. Just very Nashville type stuff. I feel like they've done a good job of considering the turnout at the game and how even in the middle of, well, Nashville's like bachelor party central, right? Like we were sitting there people watching while we were waiting for our 2-hour wait to get into the brunch place. And we sat out on the patio with coffee and just watched everybody walk around. And I kid you not, as many bachelor parties as there were U.S. soccer fans in full garb, scarves. It's hot, muggy, disgusting at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they're all out there. So really impressed with how they've turned that city into a real soccer town, except for the fact that nobody recognized Dane St. Clair, the goalkeeper for Minnesota, in street clothes at one of the main restaurant places down there. So
I would not recognize a lot of players in just regular street clothes.
The only reason I did because I was like, that looks kind of like him. I looked up a picture. He walked by again, and I was like, Dean. He stopped and he turned around, and I was like, "What's up, man?" I just gave him a fist bump. I said, "I won't blow your cover. Keep going," because there was Canadian fans all over. Brought what's the place? Assembly Hall in Nashville is like a giant food court.
I cannot believe how in depth we've gotten into Nashville.
Well, hey, you know the relevance though.
They're
in the Western Conference now. Cody.
They are.
They're in our conference,
and they're going to have a very popular road trip.
I want to go too. One of the things that they've done right was hiring Mike Jacobs from
Sporting
Kansas City, and he's a good guy. He's a smart guy, and he's helped build that club.
Yeah.
A lot of those player moves, I'm pretty sure, has been his moves. So. Now
I'm going to call it now. It's going to go down to Seattle, Nashville, and us. Calling it.
Bold.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's going to be an adjustment period. How long did it take for Sporting Kansas City to get in the top half of the Western Conference when they moved? It took until 2018. That was the first time they were good enough to get a home game.
Yeah, but they've got solid defense. That's a big leg up.
I mean, okay,
they kind of did it with offense at that point.
I'm going to get a parking ticket if we do not go soon.
Okay, we have one more thing to discuss.
What do you got, Thad?
A friend of the pod stopped by while we were sitting here waiting for Sperry to come over because it took forever. But a friend of the pod stopped by, and he had a suggestion of something we should discuss and see what other people think. And his suggestion was moving Kyrie Shelton to center back.
He's
okay,
built
in
like
the
one.
context, it makes no sense. But okay, go ahead.
He's built like one. He's got the strength.
Who posed this idea?
A friend of the pod. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly.
Is his name Thad?
No.
You distance
I've got
yourself from
this
that
friend.
one clearly.
Cody was here.
It was just that.
It's okay. We'll talk about it off the record. No, okay, and as I know that's as much of a joke as it is something that someone seriously thought. It's an interesting concept, but
also we would not have a striker if we did that.
And
some would say we don't.
How many center backs do we have now?
Yeah, like the 9th center back. Okay,
we can just listen to everybody. I mean, he's a really false nine because everyone constantly misnomers Kyrie as a false nine when he is absolutely not a false nine.
No, definitely not.
Complete opposite of a false nine.
He is all over the place, though.
He is.
In so many ways.
No, and Kyrie's a great guy. And
He's
I
what you call a
understand-
mobile target man.
I can understand why you would at least have the idea of maybe seeing him as center back because of his size, because of his strength.
Right,
When he's in the box defensively, he's usually pretty good about that.
He is.
I just think the failure would be that if you haven't played defense for the last 6 years.
Yeah, because he's not a center back. Are we really analyzing this like that? Like, he's not a center. Of course that's why it wouldn't work. He's never played center back.
I'm just saying that's why it wouldn't work because you haven't got those instincts.
Yep.
Okay.
Vermees
Well, on
did it,
that high
though,
note-
so, hey.
What's that?
Vermees did it. We got to make him a midfielder first, and then you can make him a
Vermees
center
is
back.
Oh, Vermees just went
Badass.
straight back, didn't he?
Did he? I don't know.
I think he did.
Should ask him. I'll ask him one of these days.
If I remember right, he's like center forward, center back.
Yep.
It's very Ronald Koeman-esque.
So maybe
There's
it
a
would
shout.
work. But Vermees is a one-off.
Yeah.
It's one of a kind.
Yeah, that was probably a better way to say it than a one-off. But
Okay, gentlemen, I think this was a very good first day of the United Soccer Coaches Convention. And, yeah, we should get a couple more good interviews tomorrow. I'm excited.
Yeah, much better than me. Goodness.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.